This is Catholic Forum. I'm Bob Krebs, and on today's program, we're going to be talking about the Boy Scouts of America. And my guests are Deacon Tommy Watts, who is the chaplain for the Boy Scouts of the Diocese of Wilmington, which is the state of Delaware and Maryland's Eastern Shore. Tommy, welcome to the program.
Welcome to be here. Thank you.
We're glad to see you. And also Phil Betley, who is the scoutmaster of one of our troops, which is Troop 285, right? And that's based at St. Elizabeth Church in Wilmington.
Correct, yes.
So thank you both for taking time to be with us today on the program. We don't talk very much about Boy Scouts these days for some reason, and they've been around forever. I mean, I was a scout. My son was a scout. My grandson is a scout now. So, I mean, it's something that's just part of our being, I guess, the scouting program. So we're going to talk about the Scouts. But before we do that, tell us a little bit about yourselves. Let's start with you, Tommy.
Okay. You could tell from my accent that I'm not a Delawarean. I come from Long Island, New York, from the Rockville Center Diocese. Yep. We moved down here in 95. While in New York, I was involved in. I was a scout. Mm-hmm. I was involved, and as an adult, my son and I were involved in scouting. I was a scoutmaster up there and part of the district committee. Mm-hmm. Moved down here, and we found a troop. My son continued and finally got his eagle.
Well, congratulations.
Which I never did, but he got his eagle. Yeah. And I'm part of the Diocesan Catholic Committee on Scouting. Mm-hmm. I'm also involved in a National Catholic Committee on Scouting.
Great.
Which is national, and other things in that. But, I've always been involved.
Tell us a little bit about your diaconate ministry. When were you ordained?
I was ordained in 2002.
Okay,
by Bishop Saltarelli. Part of my ministry, he gave me as the Catholic Committee. Since then, I've added the prison down in Vaughan. Mm-hmm. Plus, I'm also the COR for our church, St. Margaret of Scotland, who has a troop and a pack. I'm the COR. So I'm like the in-between father and the boys and the leaders of the troop.
So what is COR? What does that stand for?
Chartered Organizational Rep.
Gotcha.
Right. And I'm just, I'm active in our committee here, the National Committee, and wherever I can get involved.
That's great. Phil, how about you?
Sure. So I'm born and raised Delawarean.
Okay.
Grew up here. I am an alumni of St. Elizabeth's School, class of 2009, a parishioner there as well.
Great.
And as you mentioned, the Scoutmaster of Troop 285 for just about 7 years now. But I've been involved with 285 for a little over 20 years. I started there as a scout myself. My family has a long traditional, story through scouting. My uncle Primus Papati was a scout in 285, an Eagle Scout in 285. I have an older cousin who was an Eagle Scout in 285, a younger cousin in 285, and a few weeks ago we recently celebrated my nephew earning his Eagle in 285 as well. So a long history of Eagle Scouts in the Papati Betley family within Troop 285.
That's very impressive, and I would think that your experience is not unusual, especially in scout troops that are sponsored by Catholic parishes, because everybody kind of, your family's there, your friends are there, and it's kind of another layer of community that comes out of the parish.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, growing up, I had friends who were in the troop with me, brothers through, generations in 285, many of whom followed in each other's footsteps to earn Eagle. It's definitely that community building, between family, friends, school, church, etc. Definitely, is strong, not just in 285, but in scouting in general.
Right. So tell us about 285. How many scouts are involved? And it's been around for a long time, right?
Yes. So Troop 285 was established in 1955 at St. Elizabeth Parish. So we've been around almost 70 years. And have worked closely with the school and the church in that time. We've always been a smaller troop. You might find some larger troops in our council that may have 80 to 100 scouts. We've always been somewhere between 10 to 15, which I personally like. I get to know all the scouts as they grow and mature through the program, and all the boys are very close together. So we like that environment, and it enables us to, with different size troops, different ways of going about events, and different experiences, and we rather enjoy that.
Now, Scouts have changed recently. Now, I do believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that girls are allowed to join. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any girls in your troop?
We do not.
Yeah.
So the way Boy Scouts of America, Scouting BSA, currently operates is you can have a girl troop and a boy troop. They would operate independently, still kind of work together.
Gotcha.
But those two groups would be separate. We don't currently have a girl troop. We just our particular troop doesn't have the numbers to be able to sponsor a girl troop.
Mm-hmm.
But we recently just went to our Merit Badge College event for the council, and there are a number of girls that are there participating, earning badges. There have been several girls who earned Eagle, so the program is growing in that aspect.
That's great,
definitely.
and it just adds. It just makes it available to the other half of the population. All the great stuff.
Exactly.
Then there are also, and I don't mean to put you on the spot, but maybe you can answer these questions. There are Sea Scouts, right, and Explorers. And is there another as well, or
Venture Scouts?
Venture Scouts, right? Yep. Can you touch on those a little bit?
Well, Venture, I don't even know if they call them Explorers anymore. It's Venture.
It's
Scouting,
Venture, okay.
Which is where you could go until 21, I believe.
I believe.
Yeah, I believe so. So they could go on further, and they normally would pick a topic or some sort of a task that they would focus on.
Right.
Like the Sea Scouts, they focus on boating,
sailing,
and all that
sort
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where they might pick anything. They could pick whatever they wanted. But
right.
Yeah.
That's great. It seems like the Scouts are poised. I mean, they're going through a hard time now. There's, I think, the National Organizations in Bankruptcy Reorganization, which a lot of our dioceses, ours included, went through and came back stronger. But it seems like that the Scouts are poised for a good future going forward. Right. Tommy, talk a little bit about your duties as a diocesan chaplain to Boy Scouts.
It's to keep one of the Scout laws and part of Scouting that a Scout is reverent, and keep that forefront for the Scouts. They can earn religious emblems. There's 2 in Cub Scouts. There's 2 in Boy Scouts, where their faith grows. Obviously, on the Cub Scout level, it's a little bit toned down a little bit, but like the Adultary Day, they learn about the 7 sacraments. In the Pope Pius, they actually talk to the other older Scouts, and it's just a conversation, talking about your own, how your life is going, what's important to you, is God important into your life, and that kind of a thing.
Yeah. So what do you do as the chaplain? Do you help facilitate those badges and things, or?
Well, our committee will train another adult where he would work with the Scouts on the awards. Okay? Once they get trained, then they do it, and then every year we have a emblems mass where the bishop will come and actually give the Scouts their awards. We order this, and basically all of the medals or badges come through our committee, and we pay for it. And we give them to the Scouts, and we try to promote it in every unit. Some units, it isn't on the forefront, and I think basically a lot of it is that we don't have enough adults that say, okay, I'll take over the religious emblems for the troop and I'll make it available. And that's what our committee tries to do.
Right. I would think getting enough adults is a problem across the board for Scout Masters, Assistant Scout Masters, all of the adults involved. In this day and age, people are really busy and focused on other things, and kids are in sports and as well. So I would think that's probably an issue with scouting as well.
Right. I would say so, yes.
Certainly.
So what do you think, what is the most rewarding aspect of your work with Scouts? Phil, why don't you start us off with that?
Sure. So in my role as Scoutmaster, right, I get the opportunity to see these kids come in at a very young age, and I get to see them progress through this program. And really, the most rewarding thing about that is to see some of these scouts change, evolve, and mature as they go through the program. Right? You'll get kids that come in who, probably not very outspoken, very shy. Probably some of them don't really enjoy the outdoors too much. But you see as they interact with the other scouts, as they get older, learn these skills, not just scouting skills, but leadership and citizenship skills, that you see them grow and mature. And by the time that they leave our program, 17, 18 years old, they really are, they exemplify that leadership, that citizenship, that character that the program tries to teach. And seeing that transformation in the scouts, and see them grow from, the boys coming in to young men going on to the next chapter in their lives. That's an incredible experience to witness.
I can imagine. And your troop is a city troop. I mean, St. Elizabeth is in the city of Wilmington, so maybe some, not all, but some of those boys never had the opportunity to go camping or to go out and enjoy some of these more remote areas.
Exactly. That's something, when I talk to people, I tell them, scouting is an experience almost unlike any other. You don't get the opportunities or experiences or trips that scouting can provide you, especially if you've grown up living in the city all your life, right? So having that avenue, not just for personal growth, but for new experiences that you haven't had the opportunity for before, is really a unique offering that really, in my opinion, only scouting can provide.
Deacon Tommy, how about you? What is the most rewarding aspect of your work with Scouts?
Just like Phil, it's just seeing a boy who can't boil water all of a sudden, years later.
Start the fire to boil the water, right?
Right, and they can do that. They don't have to. It's supposed to be a boy-run unit,
right?
So just to see the boys take over where the adults will back off.
Yeah.
And make sure that they're safe, but let them make their own mistakes and they learn from them.
Right.
And just to be able to pitch a tent, do everything on their own, you don't have to bother. They're not asking for help all the time. They become a well-rounded person who, with experience, and it's not to borrow the slogan from Sally's, but they become a Christian gentleman.
Yeah.
Or young lady.
Yeah, they don't have a patent on that. You can use that. My guests today on Catholic Forum are from the Boy Scouts. Phil Betley is the Scoutmaster of Troop 285, which is based at St. Elizabeth's Church in Wilmington. And Deacon Tommy Watts is the diocesan chaplain to the Boy Scouts. As an ordained member of the clergy, he gets to be a chaplain. So yeah, lucky you, right? No, I mean it. You are lucky to be able to do that. So you were talking to me earlier about the St. George Trek. You have that on your shirt there, Tommy. Tell us a little bit about that.
The St. George Trek is from the National Catholic Committee on Scouting, where every other year, from all over the country, we bring scouts together, and they are approved or recommended by their diocese to come, and they'll go on a 12-day trek at Philmont Scout Ranch in Cimarron, New Mexico. And they go out in crews of about 10 with a priest, a seminarian, a sister, a religious, and they'll go out in the backcountry for 12 days, hiking the trails, doing the shotgun shooting, doing fishing, doing whatever programs that they have. But they hike along, and for 12 days they're sleeping under the stars, and they're just out in God's country, is what we call it. But they're learning about the faith with the priest or brother or religious there with them, and they're talking about the faith. And it's almost like a retreat that lasts 12 days out in the backcountry.
Wow.
And to see these boys when we meet them in Albuquerque and get them ready, and when they come back, it's just different. And they always give us a report of what they feel, and just the words that are coming out of their mouth is unbelievable.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Can you share some of that? How has it impacted some of these kids?
Oh, I think maybe it's the first time that they've maybe had Mass every day out on a trail.
Mm-hmm.
If they have a problem, as they're walking, they could talk to the priest and just for guidance or thoughts, reconciliation. So I think they get a real good advantage to the sacraments, and I think they felt the sacraments, or they get the sacraments in a whole new way.
Right.
Of what it is. It's just about being with God. And
I would think that maybe we could get some vocations out of that, perhaps.
We do have some, not a lot.
Yeah.
Not a lot. I'm not going to say that, but we have had some boys that came back and went on to the seminary and became a priest.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Is there one coming up this year? Or,
Yes.
Okay,
this
summer?
year in July.
In July, yeah.
We'll be meeting out in Albuquerque, New Mexico, where we hang out at a hotel, a little luxury, for a few days, and then we bus them up to Cimarron, to Philmont.
And you go back to the hotel, right?
No, I go with them.
Oh, dear.
But I'm lucky. I get to sleep in the chapel, so I'm not too bad. But yeah, and then we go up and visit them every once in a while to see how they're doing. We might bring them some more host or wine or whatever.
Right.
Wine for Mass.
Right.
And toilet paper, whatever.
Yeah, and before we end up today, we'll let you give a phone number or how people can contact you about more information on that. Phil, what would you say to a youngster or a parent who is considering, like Boy Scouts? What's the selling point?
Sure. So I mentioned earlier kind of that idea that Scouting provides an experience that really no other program can, right? You can learn, teamwork in sports. You can learn leadership through a youth organization. But to combine all of that with the unique skills and experiences that Scouting can provide, it's unlike any other, right? I tell my boys and I tell the parents that in my opinion, the Scouting program really excels at teaching a young man or woman good citizenship and good leadership, right? Which are two characteristics that we would love to see we love to see in the leaders moving forward in our communities, in our country, right? It really builds someone to be the best of themselves. But when I'm trying to recruit, I mentioned that the experience is unlike any other. But the best way to do it is to experience it. Come to a meeting. Maybe after a couple weeks, your son or daughter wants to go to a camping trip. My words won't do the justice of the joy that they have in the experience. And as always, our goal as leaders in the Scouting program is not necessarily to recruit you to my troop. Troops operate a little differently, from unit to unit. And if ours isn't the right fit, we'll make sure we find one that is for you. Because it's more important for us that your son or daughter enjoys the program and finds the benefits and the experiences of the program than to necessarily be in our troop. So that's what I would say. Unlike any other, come try it out, and we'll make sure we find the right fit for you.
Have anything you wanted to add to that, Tom?
No, he really kind of summed it up. Just.
Yeah. That's great. So you guys have any upcoming events or anything you'd like to mention? I know you're going to tell us about the St. George Trek. Anything you would like to mention?
Yeah, for Troop 285, we keep a regular schedule of events going on. Typically, we do one of our outings every month. So we have a March trip coming up in a couple weeks. We'll have an April one thereafter. Our biggest event of the year is our week-long summer camp in July. The boys go out. We spend a whole week at summer camp earning badges, going on activities like river rafting or archery, and like I said, experiences you don't get anywhere else. So we have a couple events like that coming up. So if there's a scout that might be interested, we do have something going on all the time.
Great. And your troop is sponsored by St. Elizabeth's, and there are other troops sponsored by Catholic churches like St. Margaret of Scotland. I think St. Mary of the Assumption has one. St. John the Beloved has. I mean, a lot of the parishes do. And if not, in your area, if someone's listening or watching this, check Protestant churches. Some Protestant churches have it if you don't have one on your Catholic church. Or also like some organizations like the Lions Club. There are other. So there's probably, everybody listening probably has access to a Scout troop somewhere.
Or if they can get their pastor to say okay and just start a unit in their parish.
There you go. That's a good idea as well. So how can our listeners get more information about scouting? Let's start with you, Deacon Tommy. And is there a way, could they go through the youth ministry office here at the diocese?
You can.
Would be an option?
Right,
yeah.
you could.
And how about for your for the St. George Trek?
Yeah. Can I give my phone number?
Sure.
Okay. I'll give you my cell, which is 302
Yeah.
218-1415.
Yeah.
If you want more information, just contact me. We have a pilgrimage coming up in the end of March.
Mm-hmm. That's
where
part
we'll
of
walk
youth
with the
ministry,
bishop,
right? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then we also have the Bishop's Mass in June,
Yeah.
where the Scouts will get their awards. And the St. George Trek, like I say, is in July.
Give the phone number one more time.
302-218-1415. Or if you want to email me, it's just simple, Tommy@margaretofscotland.org.
Perfect. You'll be getting a lot of calls about your car warranty after
Probably.
this. And Phil, how about you?
Sure. So I always say if someone's looking to understand scouting in general, a great resource is delmarvacouncil.org. That's our local council here. But if you're looking to find more information about Troop 285 and what we do, you can email me at scoutmaster285@gmail.com, or feel free to call me, 302-276-3440. Or if you're around St. Elizabeth's for one of our big events or masses or things like that, I'm sure you'll see us in uniform. We love to chat. A Scout is friendly. Come up to us. We'll chat your ear off.
That's
So,
great. That's great. Well, Phil Betley and Deacon Tommy Watts, thanks so much for being with us today on Catholic Forum. We wish you continued success with your ministry, which is what this is. It's a ministry at this level, and hope everything continues to go well for you guys.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Thank you.